Hello, everybody, and welcome to Happy Hour. We toast you for joining us. It's Bob and Sherry and Heather and Lamar tonight.
Yes.
And we decided that we would go and continue with Happy Hour tonight, despite what is happening in our country. It has been just a horrifying, is the only word I can come up with, 2 weeks in America for so many people. We were talking amongst ourselves. Heather brought it up. Should we even do this tonight? And then we thought, there are some folks that almost all of us have been following this, and it's been so stressful. So we thought we would just continue with our silliness and maybe give you a little bit of a break from thinking about all of the things that are going on right now. And I felt that we needed to, at the top, sort of do a disclaimer here to let you know we are very sensitive to what has happened to our fellow Americans. It's absolutely heartbreaking. We have neighbors where I am 2 doors down, and they rent their house sometimes, and it's rented by a Florida family. They lost power. They haven't had power in days. Their house is okay. They had some damage, and that story, of course, is all over the East Coast and right into Tennessee and, of course, North Carolina. So we're thinking of you if you are watching us tonight and you're in an affected area. God bless. We hope that your area comes around soon and that it gets fixed. I've never, in my whole life, I've never seen anything like this. The idea that the mountains of North Carolina and into Tennessee could be affected, uh, literally small villages, towns, torn apart, torn down, just decimated, don't even exist
By
anymore
a hurricane
by hurricane.
in the
Yeah.
mountains. Well, because I'm so nosy and I mind everyone's business, I know where a lot of our listeners live. And so I was like watching the Weather Channel. I am now America's grandpa. I'd like to proudly announce that I am an 87-year-old grandfather who watches the Weather Channel. And some of our, like Regina's with us tonight. Hey, Regina. Some of our listeners, like I texted Regina, are you okay? Because I'm seeing the Weather Channel with giant storm surges, and it wasn't even high tide. And we really did struggle with it. Hello from Fort Myers, Meredith Miller. Check in, because that part of the world, and you know how much we love that part of the world.
Yeah.
We're just going to be silly, and we're going to be a distraction. And at no time are we going to blow your roof off or flood your living room. It's like Bob said, man. It's been a couple of weeks, and I just heard from my mom this afternoon. She had a follow-up to her emergency eye procedure. I was like, how'd that go, Mom? And she said, well, they put a needle in my eye and numbed it, and then they wrapped a membrane around the back of it, and then my mother is living a Saw movie, everybody.
Good night, everybody. It's been nice. I'll see you later on.
Straight up Saw movie. And I feel terrible that I wasn't there because she can't drive, obviously.
Right.
But she's okay. I mean, it's just been a couple of weeks. So cheers, and we're glad to be with you.
Yeah. Yes. My sister lives in the Space Coast, a condominium right on the beach. And she didn't lose power. So it was all hit or miss. Those tornadoes were something. They were just horrifying. And then I just walked by the news a little while ago, and I heard whoever was the newscaster say, and right now we're looking at 4 possible hurricanes there in the Gulf that are starting to get. I went, no.
It's been a rough.
They need to go away.
Hurricane season. Our astrologer Charlie King, she'll be on the show tomorrow with the Zippy Zodiac. We hope. She lives in the Keys. She lives in Key West, and they got weather, but they got sort of skipped this time. But
they were lucky.
Charlie told us there's another one heading for Cuba, and then maybe Key West. I know that for everyone in the path of these storms, you're just so exhausted.
How about you, Lamar? You had some damage to your house, didn't you?
Yeah, they just got, like I was telling them earlier, they got the trees cut off, and so we're good. We got to get a deck rebuilt and some other stuff, but I mean,
could have been worse.
It's an inconvenience.
Yeah.
We had some family members that were down in the Tampa area, and their actual house was like 60 yards from the water. And last week they really had a storm surge, and so this week they managed to move about 30 miles up, and they called us early this morning, and they were fine.
How's their house? How's their house?
Hadn't been back to the house yet. It's
They
a
don't
good
know.
chance. It's a good chance. They expected the house possibly not to be there when they get
Wow.
back. They were, they just don't know yet.
Wow.
So
Patty Williams said they're going to name the next storm Patty, and she's not happy about it. You can't name Hurricane Patty. Have you ever known a Patty that wasn't the most delightful, friendly, helpful person that you've ever
Exactly.
known?
I went to high
Patty is
school.
not the same thing as Patricia, Pat, or Patsy. A
Right.
Patty
Yeah.
is a helper, and we can't be naming storms after Patty.
yeah, no doubt.
I went to high school with a girl, and she was so pretty. Her name was Patty Mack, and all I heard from Patty Mack, well, not all I heard, but I frequently heard she was really looking forward someday to get married and not be Patty Mack. She said, "I like being Patty, but I hate my last name." Now, if you're a guy and you're Lamar Mack, that's one thing.
Yeah, I don't
But
want
when you're
that.
named after a truck, as a girl, teenage girl, maybe not so cool.
Let's be honest. If
So
your name
wait.
Lamar, it don't go with anything. Okay, it just
Look,
doesn't
you
go. With
guys, look at Crystal Bianco. My Aunt Patty is lovingly known as Aunt Jello Shot.
That's great.
I think Patty Mack is a great name.
I thought
mean,
it was
it's
too.
so memorable.
I know.
But it does sound like that. Like a Patty Mack sounds like a Patty that might throw a punch if she doesn't care for your attitude.
Or
Sounds like
perhaps
one of those, what was the nursery rhyme? Tic tac, patty whack.
Give the
Patty
dog a
Mack, give
bone.
the
it's
dog
golden.
a
It's
bone,
so
yeah.
blank, let's
Yeah.
go in home. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
sure she caught a lot of that in school. Yeah.
So, a lot of things going on in the world outside of the weather. What do you think about the Puffy Combs thing?
I saw something on the news last night that shocked me to my core. I'm wondering if anybody else was watching ABC World News Tonight with the delicious David Muir, who I enjoyed very, very much. I punched off the Weather Channel just to see what David Muir was up to, and I landed on at the exact moment that this man was like weepy on screen, talking about how we can't even begin to understand the magnitude of Sean Combs Diddy's crimes, the
Really?
number of victims, how many people were complicit, how the operation evolved over time to where he was sexually assaulting young men and boys. I sat there on my couch like, I mean, you kind of knew from the coverage so far, but it was just so blunt and laid out. And then Diddy was in court today, and I don't really want to call him Diddy. I want to call him by his name, like the warden does.
Right.
So Sean Combs was in court today trying to get released, and that didn't go so well.
Yeah.
Apparently, the magnitude of evidence is overwhelming, but it's been interesting because earlier this week, like Monday maybe or Tuesday, it was released that a whole bunch of very prominent names associated with this case are rapidly signing checks for cash settlements to keep people quiet and keep their names out of it.
Well, I predicted that these people will not be outed. They get away with it. It happens time.
The
and
middle
time again.
people, the middle people will be outed. The middle
Yeah,
people.
that's exactly right.
Up top. This is going to be a little bit like Jeffrey Epstein, but not quite like Jeffrey Epstein. And I wonder what the difference might be. But also, I want to say Wallace and Seth Simmons. Can we talk about Nashville shocker Garth Brooks? I don't know what timeline we got spun into that Garth Brooks is in the news.
Yeah. I really hope.
I'm not gonna say, or I give no conjecture as to whether he's innocent or guilty, because
I'm
it's
hoping
so
he's not.
bizarre. And unless you're on the inside, you don't really know right now.
I hope he's not.
I'll tell you what, if he's guilty, he's a hell of an actor, because he was like everybody. Even if he didn't like country music, when he was at his peak, I mean, he was the biggest entertainer in the world. People loved him.
Did he? He's not a small fry. I mean, that's what I'm,
That's true.
But I will be crushed. There's some things I like to depend on. There's some things I would like to believe in,
at noon today, People Magazine, which is not TMZ. I mean, in the world we're living in right now, People Magazine, the Washington Post, write about the same.
Well, they're owned by Time Magazine.
People
That's one.
Magazine at noon today dropped a story about how Garth Brooks has been. I pulled it right up here so I could show you. Garth Brooks has been sued by his former hairstylist and makeup artist, who claimed that he behaved inappropriately and raped her while they worked together. And here's what the source says. Everyone's shocked. Even people that don't like him are shocked. I didn't know anybody didn't like Garth Brooks, by the way.
I know.
That was my first, like, I love Trisha Yearwood. And if Trisha Yearwood loves Garth Brooks, that was good enough for me, right? Like, that was a recommendation.
Yeah, I can trust her, surely.
Anyway, this apparently there are receipts. There are very explicit text messages. I want to wake up tomorrow and that we flipped into another timeline where none of this is happening, because
I know. I know.
Oh,
It's a bummer. I want to say hi to Julie Brown, who is in Willow, Alaska. She said we had snow this morning.
I thought you had snow every morning.
Early. Maybe not for Willow, Alaska, but it's definitely early.
So good luck to their winter coming up. Alaska, if you've never been, it really is everything it's cracked up to be. You know, there are some places that you see pictures of and you say, yeah, I don't know if it's really like that. Alaska really is like that. It's just, it's an astounding place.
I've never been, but
you'd love it.
When we fly to Japan, I look out the window and I see where we're over Alaska. And I mean, I take a nap, I watch a movie, we're still over Alaska. I take another nap, I eat, I watch a movie. I mean, it's such a long and big, it's ridiculous.
It's immense.
It's immense.
Can you believe that we bought it from the Russians for something? Now, I know this was, a long time ago, for like $90,000.
They regret that, let me tell you.
Yeah, you're right about
They'd like
that.
to have that back. They'd like to have that deal.
If
whoever
you
made that deal,
Ukraine,
whoever made that deal's dead. They're dead.
One of the things I like about Alaska would probably drive a lot of people crazy is how early it gets dark in the wintertime.
It does.
It's very cozy. Like, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it's dark. So you're like, who's ready for a drink and some dinner? And it's 4 p.m. It's easy to work our kind of hours in an Alaskan winter.
But isn't it true that there's in the dead of winter, there's only like several hours, like 3 to 5 hours of daylight a day?
I've not been in the dead of winter, but I did watch In the Night Country with Jodie Foster. So I feel that may be accurate.
Yeah.
I know when I was there, it was in the summertime, and I was with a TV crew, and we went into a bar to have a burger. No, this was at midnight. We went into a bar to get something to eat, and we came out at midnight, and it was light outside, just really freaky.
Yeah.
So it's flipped completely during the summertime. Let's see, what else do we have? Hello from Beth Carter in Maine. Arlington, Maine. We've had a trash facility on fire, and I just lost
for a week. She said for a week.
For a week?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, like a dump, I guess she's talking about.
Yeah.
Like a literal dumpster fire?
Yeah, literally.
Big dumpster.
I thought that was everything. Oh my God, that chemical plant fire in Georgia.
Wow.
Okay, here's Julie Brown again. She says that the sun rises in Alaska in the middle of the winter around 10:30 in the morning and sets at 4:30 in the afternoon. So 6 hours.
And I could sleep. God, I could sleep. That would be great.
You would like that? Oh, I would be so. I don't know if I could do it. I could take the long days, but I just don't know if I could do it.
Crystal, thank you for posting that. Thank you. That was absolutely accurate. Hi, Jenny Garcia and Jessica Wallace, who's in Western Maryland.
Yeah.
Western Maryland by Ray was on fire. Oh my God. Y'all, what do we need? Did somebody bring like a cursed totem home from Hawaii, like in the Brady Bunch? Do we need to do some sort of anti-hexing action? Hey,
Speaking of the Brady Bunch, let's get to what America really is concerned about, and that is whether or not Greg was dating Florence Henderson.
It was. She says that she went with him because it was sweet that he asked her. She gave him a kiss on the cheek. She didn't realize he felt like it was a date, but if he remembers it that way to sell a book or two, she didn't care. That was her deal. If she remembers, if, she pretty much, that's what she said.
They were all involved with each other, evidently, at one point.
I don't like to. I don't like to think about that
I know.
because it's the story of a lovely lady with 3 girls of her own, and then she meets Mr. Brady, and he's raising 3 boys, and now they're all happy siblings
Yeah.
who I think have 1 bathroom in that whole house. And Alice the maid lives in a broom closet next to the oven. I don't want to think about anything
No.
untoward. I just
No.
And the 2 people that were not up to something were gay. So it was a strange world that we lived in.
Yeah. Still is.
Mm-mm-mm.
I want to go to Alaska though. We're going to do that sometime, but
Would you do the cruise, or would you do the Alaskan Highway, which I understand is no easy drive?
I know. No. I've already seen how long it is. I'm going to let somebody drive a boat up there. I'll do the cruise. I'll
Yeah.
do the cruise.
I had a neighbor years ago, and they had 3 boys, and they were ages like 12, 10, and 9, something like that. And the guy was a real outdoorsman, hell of a nice guy. And he said to me, "We're going to drive to Alaska." And this was from Charlotte, North Carolina. I went, "Really?" He says, "Yep, got a brand new Chevy Suburban, and we're going to Alaska. I'm taking the summer off from work." I forgot what he did for a living. His wife was a stay-at-home mom. So the kids are out of school, and they all pile in there. When he left, he had dark brown hair. When he came back, it was white. That I don't think it was the Alaskan Highway as much as being with 3 kids that
A
age
small car.
in a Suburban for 2
A guy that I
months.
work with at Budweiser, his son joined the Coast Guard, and his first deployment where he was at was in Alaska. And so
Wow.
he bought a brand new truck, just like what you're talking about, and he drove it from here to Alaska. And he stayed up there for a while, and he wound up selling the truck and flew home. He was, when he was not driving it. I mean, I just think about how long. Oh
Well,
my!
it's the Alaskan Highway too. It's
Yes.
not like you're driving, in New Jersey. It's pretty rough in certain spots, from what I've
We
been
went
told.
we went to a camping thing. It was like a little a convention, maybe, whatever. But people that own the same type of camper I do, and they do a thing, and everybody gets together, and it's all fun, blah blah blah. But they had a guy that he does Alaska camping trips. They last for 48 days, and you start at the Canadian border, and then you do Alaska, and you do so many miles every day. And they have a truck behind it's like 30 or 40 campers that do it. And they have a crew behind there in case you have problems or whatever. But they go for like 40 something days and camp all along Alaska up through there.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I saw Patty Williams commented, and my screen is far away, and it looked like she said, "A circus is the best way to see Alaska," and running away to the circus seemed difficult, but it's cruise, Patty. It was a cruise was the best way to see Alaska.
Lisa Marie Holder said, "I did the dog sledding thing in Alaska."
Ooh, that's cool.
I did that. That was one of the worst experiences of my life. You know how it works? So I got a TV crew, and they're in a truck next to me, and the musher, the guy, who's on the thing, he's standing up. I am sitting down right behind the dogs. And what I didn't realize was the dogs have been pent up all night long. So they've got a lot of energy, and they've got a lot of something else that they need to get rid of. And off we go. And as they're running, they're going, and I am eye level to their butts.
Mm.
That,
Oh, buddy.
What they're saying about being the lead dog.
yeah,
You
that's
never change it.
exactly
You're
right.
not the lead dog.
That's
Thank you,
the
Heather
rule.
Mumford. I appreciate it. That was very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, that was very nice. You look the most professional out of all of us. And
That's
it's
because I got my Bob and Sheri thing.
Yeah, you do.
I could not. I was at my setup with my Bob and Sheri mic and everything
Hey,
else
Tony.
for 9.5 hours today, and I needed to sit somewhere else. So you have to represent for all of us. So let me see what. So Wallace says, our family has fished the salmon run on the Kenai River. We brought home 125 pounds of fish this summer.
That
Wow.
man, that salmon that sockeye salmon up there, that's the deal. That is the deal.
My children's grandfather, Grandpa Dean, he's gone now. He's over the Rainbow Bridge, but he went salmon fishing in Alaska, and he shipped a box full of frozen salmon to me, and it ruined me for salmon.
Oh
But
yeah,
that's the only salmon I can eat now.
I don't order it in a restaurant. I don't, I buy the sockeye salmon at Costco, and I don't order it at a restaurant. I'm ruined for that.
I'm
It is
destroyed.
so good.
Yeah,
It is so good.
I'm just after that fresh, because they flash freeze it, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
pull it out of the water, they clean it, they fillet it, they flash
Mm.
freeze it, they ship it, and it came with this beautiful big cedar plank, so you could cook
Ooh,
it. Cedar plank salmon.
yeah,
Oh, forget it. Like that was it.
yeah.
And
Tony
I just
Garcia
can't
says
eat
hello.
salmon. Just can't
Yeah.
eat it anywhere else. Oh, Tony's here. Hey, Tony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tony's here.
How you doing? Vicky, we're glad you remembered. Hey, everybody. We're so happy to see y'all too.
Yes.
Tony is a real person, Jenny. He is. He's definitely a real person.
Yeah. He just hates orange juice. He does.
He's paying for it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Patty Lawrence says, hey, Bob, been feeding our dog your homemade dog food recipe. She was diagnosed with stage 3 kidney disease and lost her appetite. But she loves the Finn's chicken and rice that you mix with the Dr. Marty's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, good. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm glad the dog is getting better. Finn is right next to me here, and he's been struggling a little bit too. He's got this terrible bronchitis we're trying to get rid of. He's got an inhaler, which was very difficult for him to learn to deal with, but now he does. And got a little stomach problem. So we've got quite a bit going on with Mr. Finn, and a very exciting weekend coming up for me. My grandson turns 5 on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And
that went fast.
we're going to the big birthday party. And last time I was in Maine, I bought he and my granddaughter Elle giant lobster lollipops. And I don't care if their mother says when you give them sugar, you break them, you own them. They are getting a giant lobster.
Like how giant? Like when you say giant, what are we talking?
I'll go get it.
Okay.
It's not that big.
I'm wondering if Finn's stomach and diarrhea issues are directly connected to this new medication that he's taken. Call me crazy, but I've seen enough ads on TV where ask your doctor if blah 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 is right for you. And isn't explosive diarrhea almost
everything? Yes. Because I don't and he hasn't had any change in his food. I mean, that's usually what the deal is, a change in food. But medicine,
it might be the medicine, Lamar, but what do we know?
Nope, that's right.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a good
Oh,
size.
yes. That looks really good.
Yeah.
That's a good size. Hey, Bob, we all agreed while you were getting that lollipop that Finn's stomach issues are connected, and the 2 accidents he's had are maybe connected to this new medication.
Well, he's done with the steroids, and now he's on this inhaler thing. And I tell you what, dogs do not like to have something put over their nose to inhale. But he's such a good dog. He's gotten used to it, and I'm hoping that that's what it is, because he has to sleep now in my bathroom, and it's been hard. It's been really hard. But let's change the subject. People are not.
Listen, when Caramia was little and had her first asthma incident, it was hard to get Caramia to use an inhaler. I have no idea how you persuade a Labradoodle to do it.
I know, it's tough. It's such a good dog, though. So what else are we doing here? What else is going on? What are the big movies that are coming out, Lamar?
Well, I still hadn't went to see Joker, and every day the reviews get worse and worse and
What's
worse.
up with that?
Part of it is it's got a lot of music in it, and the people felt like it was because the last one had a lot of action and tension and drama. And this doesn't have that. It doesn't have the action. It's got all and you know, if you're going to have Gaga in your movie, you're going to want her to sing. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the bottom line. She's got to sing.
So,
And I'm just hearing terrible things.
question. When Joker, I think it might have been the Venice Film Festival, but when Joker premiered, it got like a 5-minute standing ovation. So
Yeah.
how is it going so sideways with people that were waiting, like excited to see it?
Yeah. I'm
Does
gonna
she
try.
does she
I'm
play
gonna
the Harley Quinn character?
Yeah.
Is she the
yes.
she is? Yeah.
But see, the thing is, the first Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix had nothing to do with the comic book or DC or nothing. I mean, it was it's a different deal. And this doesn't either. And I think a lot of people, since that first one had a lot of, drama and some physical action and whatever, they're thinking, hey, this is going to be some more of that. This is completely different. It's not necessarily a musical, but it's close. It's very close.
Oh,
And then,
really?
yeah. There's
That's
a
what
lot of
Louis
things.
said.
Oh.
He said he saw it Tuesday, more of a musical than an action movie.
Yeah.
I guess I was expecting it to be more like the first Joker.
Exactly, and that's what everybody else is expecting,
Yeah.
and they get there, and they flipped it completely around. And when you're expecting one thing and you get another, sometimes it doesn't work out.
Unless
Marlene
it's a
Clive
home
just
run.
said they give everybody those long-standing ovations at festivals.
Yeah, they're all
That's probably true.
they
I
all
agree.
pat each other on the back. That's
Yes.
what they're doing.
Angelina Jolie has a movie coming out about an opera singer and got a 9-minute standing ovation. You're standing and clapping for 9 minutes. You know what I'm going to be doing that for? Oh, look, the sky parted. Here come the angels. Like,
Yeah. 9 minutes. Come on.
I think it is a thing when they all get together to a certain degree, and not to say that there aren't some great movies that are premiered at those Sundance and in France. I'm not to say that they're not great and not deserving of it, but there is I think, feeling like we're in the business together. We need to
We're all
support
on the
each other.
same team. We're
Yeah.
supporting each other. It's
Right.
I mean, it's a mutual love fest. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I look every time Kev will say, let's go to the movies. Let's go to the movie theater. And then I'll pull up the movies that are out. Do you want to see? Nah. How about, what if, nah. And so the Discovery Channel it is, because I can't drag him to the Joker if it's almost a musical.
No.
He'll shoot his own leg off. Are you kidding?
No.
There was an interesting article in the New York Times last Sunday about how we don't really have anything in our lives in America now that is entertainment based that we all rally around as something that we celebrate together.
Ooh, yeah, I think we were talking about that.
And it's so true. It really is so true. I mean, if you're a 25-year-old person right now, your grandparents, everybody in school watched when the Beatles came on. Even your parents watched when the Beatles came on. And then, of course, the really big television shows like the finale of MASH, Cheers,
Dallas. Who
Dallas.
shot JR?
Right. They were celebrated as a country, for good or for bad.
We don't have a shared pop culture reality at all.
We really don't.
Let me just divert and say hey to Jen Benefield, who's checking in from Citrus County in Florida. She's listening via her generator.
Wow.
Y'all raise your glass to Jen.
Yes.
Yeah.
That part of the
She's a great
state
person.
just got
Yes.
hammered. Jen,
I
can't believe you're here. I'm so delighted. Thank you.
I believe at this point, after the disasters for the last 2 weeks, especially that came so far up as far as hurricanes go, if there's any way you can afford a small generator, buy it. Because when we got back home, of course, we lost everything in the refrigerators, but that was no problem. But we got back home, I've got a small generator that and I bought one that if I'm tailgating somewhere, I can carry it. I mean, it's not. I don't.
Right.
It doesn't take two people to get it out of the car or whatever. Okay, so but it was big enough. It was big enough to run the refrigerator, to run a couple of lights, to run 2 fans, and charge all of my stuff. That's it, and that's enough. That's the minimum. And you know what? You buy it, you put it in the basement or whatever, and it's
How much did that cost?
it was. I've had it a couple of years. I paid $600 for it.
How do you hook it up to, like, specifically the refrigerator?
What you do is, it's really simple. You get an extension cord, and a lot of that you can get. I've got an extension cord that's got 3 outlets on the extension cord. So I put it out on the porch for the carbon dioxide deal. I run it through the crack in the door, and then you can hook 3 extension cords up, and you move them around the house, and you can plug it up. And at the end of each extension cord, there's a couple of other plug-ins. So you've got multiple plug-ins, and this is a small one. It's like 1,600 watts. It's not a big deal, but it will run your refrigerator. It'll keep you where you can see, you can be cool with a fan without air conditioning, and you can keep your food cold. I mean, and it's
those words "without air conditioning" would not go over well here with the blonde woman.
No.
Can we give Sean Miller's mom, Karen, a shout out? It's her very first happy hour.
Yay, good to see you.
I will say I've only made 4 good decisions in my whole life: sunscreen, not smoking, saving for college when my daughters were infants, and a generator. We built a generator into our house, and that thing has paid for itself about 100 times over.
Oh, yeah.
Because for whatever reason, where I live, there are always trees coming down on power lines. And like the night I brought Kevin home from his big surgery back in January, we had a delay because of the tornado. We had all this terrible weather. The power was out. The whole neighborhood was pitch dark. He was high as a mofo on the painkillers and anesthesia. And I had to drag him in the house in the pouring rain. And if not for the generator, I don't know what I would have done. Yeah. I don't know how I would have gotten him in and gotten him settled. It was my 4th best decision.
So is yours one that just if the electricity goes on, it kicks in and
no. Now you're talking about something it's already, like, hers is already hooked into her wiring, so she can go and flip off her breakers and then flip on the one she wants to use, crank it up, but mine is as simple as it gets. Ours is
totally automatic. When the power goes off, the generator comes on. It doesn't power everything, but it powers the most important thing for me is that it powers the refrigerator, because I could cry. Lamar has 2, like most people, Lamar had 2 fridges, kitchen, garage. And Lamar, he's a foodie. He likes to cook. Yeah. When I learned that the power had gone out, and I know it was going to be out because Lamar lives near where Carmi goes to school, I wanted to cry because of the waste. Everyone Regina's sister-in-law, her house flooded again. Like, they just dried it off and cleaned it up. It flooded again. When you lose your power and you have to throw all your food away, oh God, you could just cry.
Lamar, you've got the RV. You could always go to that, couldn't you? If you
Tree hit it.
Oh.
Yeah, Lamar house.
But let's say a tree didn't hit it.
Yes, I could. I could go to the RV. Yes, I really could. And we talked about it because the tree didn't do enough damage, to really. But here's the deal with the RV. I mean, it's a camper, so I'm not sure. I know our generator would have done the same thing it does here, but our generator would have still not run the air conditioners. I've got 2 air conditioners in my camper. It's not strong enough for that. So we would be sitting over there with fans on. I might as well be sitting over here. But
Billy, let me answer Billy Prevet. A tree came down on Lamar's roof, demolished their deck, his truck, and the camper. The only thing that didn't get a tree on it is Lamar and his poodle. Everything else he owns had a tree on it. And that's because the part of the state where Lamar lives got really hammered by Hurricane Helene, you never expect, right?
Yeah. Speaking of RVs, I want to see anybody else has noticed this. You know how you're online and you're reading a story about whatever, it could be the cost of housing has gone up, blah, blah, blah. And you finish the story. And then there are all those little rabbit holes, and they're all lies.
Oh, yes.
They're
You
all,
can't read. No, don't look at none of those.
you can't.
No.
There was one that popped up when we were on the air today, and it popped up. The most amazing RV I've ever seen.
Not
This
true. It's
this
fake.
thing looked like something from outer space, like the
3
stairs
levels.
automatically come down. And you know what the caption was? It like 6 people could live in it. It's got 4 televisions, and it says, "This RV is amazingly cheaper than you think." No, it's not. No, it's
Oh,
not.
they never are.
No.
And then there was another one right next to this one that says, "This bank is offering 12% on your money in your savings account." So that's
It's not true.
what are they using as the visual?
It's a
The
click.
visual was a nice house with about a 20-year-old girl in a tank top with big boobs.
Yeah. It's all of that
It's
stuff
all
is clickbait.
lies.
It's all clickbait. I don't click on
Yeah.
anything. I just
I
don't
don't
click
either.
on anything. There's no point.
I forget what the name of the show is, but there's a show on one of the channels about these pimped out RVs.
Oh, yes.
And it's the same couple, right? It's Bill and Diane, and they're from Indianapolis.
Yes.
And they've decided to retire early and see America. And, they both have specific things they want in the RV. Diane wants granite everywhere, which, girl, do you know how much gas costs? And you get like 3 miles to the gallon, but go ahead and pull you a wagon full of granite.
Yeah.
So Diane wants granite everywhere. And Bill's real focused on the horsepower. And so they go out shopping for the RVs. And they see this one. It's just like Love It or List It. It's all right. Diane thinks the kitchen is kind of tacky. And then they look at that one, and Bill's concerned about the clearance, and the one that they settle on is $922,000.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Exactly. Have you ever seen pictures of some of the resorts that are absolutely beautiful just for RVs?
Looney.
Lamar has a big RV, but his RV is not big enough to be able to get to the gates of some of
My
these.
brother-in-law, y'all all know Looney, right? You know Looney.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He just bought a lot in one of these RV places. And we went to it, and they've got his RV lot has got, and they just finished building. It's a complete outdoor kitchen, and it's like huge. Okay.
Wow.
And it's got full stove, full refrigerator, grills, griddle. It's got everything to entertain probably 8 or 10 people. Then it's got a built-in fire pit, and he's got an option of putting a small swimming pool in it. He don't know if he's going to do that or not, but it's only for RVs. The RVs cannot be they have to be less than 10 years old, or you cannot pull through the gate.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. They got to be. It's got to be tight. They got to be really tight. And I mean, these lots are ridiculous, but it's beautiful. And there's no street. It's all cobblestone. Everything through the entire deal is cobblestone.
Where is it? Can you tell me where it is?
Orange Beach.
In Alabama?
Orange Beach, Alabama.
Oh, wow.
So hypothetically, I'm blissfully happy, of course, but were Looney and I ever single at the same time? I'm just And if we were, Lamar, what the hell were you doing? Why were you sitting down?
Lamar's screen is jumping all over the place.
Yeah, we're good now. We're good.
You all right now? Okay.
But yeah, it's beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. And those places are all over the country, though. They're all over the country.
Don't you think that if I had that kind of money, as soon as I put the pool in my RV, I would be struck by a bolt from heaven.
You would.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's not for you, Bob. As
who do
you've
you
learned
think
over,
you are?
you have learned over time, that's not for you.
No,
That is not going to be
that is
what's meant for
not
you.
going to
That's
happen
what's
for me.
meant for Looney. And I've been inside Looney's RV, and it's nice.
Yeah.
It's real.
But this one kind of sounds like Rodney Dangerfield could be driving it in Caddyshack a little bit.
Oh no, Looney has good taste.
No, it's
This is
not.
a
It's nice.
tasteful RV.
Really?
It's nice. Yeah.
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 Because we were doing a Lamar barbecue, and I said, I think it was Carla, do you know which way the bathroom is? And Looney said, why don't you use my camper? And I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to. So I go in Looney's camper, and I'm like, this is your camper? This is nicer than most people's dream houses. It was something. It was really lovely.
It's true.
Lamar will be right.
Oh, we have another Crystal River, Teresa Baden.
Yeah, I was
Girl,
just
how'd you
looking at that.
fare? How'd you? No, Heather's not sick. She's just really cold tonight. It's cold in her house. We've got a couple of Crystal River folks in here, and we were scared. Heather and I talked earlier. Like Crystal River is one of the places we were super scared about. We'll get Lamar back. So let us know, Teresa, how you fare, because Jen Benefield is here, also Crystal River, and she's on generator. So I'm assuming that you must be too. Wow.
Crystal, we have been on the air in Crystal River for I don't know how long, 25 years, something like that. I remember that one of the times we went there, we went and saw the
glass bottom boats.
Glass bottom boats.
Oh my God, it was spectacular. And I got to hold a tarantula. It was very soft and furry. That was super fun. And they had capybaras, which is my favorite animal in the whole wide world. So yeah, Crystal River was amazing.
But they also have, what are those? They're the cows of the sea.
Manatees.
The manatees. Famous for the manatees. And isn't that where one of the James Bond movie scenes was shot?
I feel like they told us yeah, I feel like they told us that. I don't know which one.
There are like statues that are on the sea bottom, and the location was used for that. It's a beautiful place.
It's
really
unbelievable. Oh, look, Teresa had no damage. Oh my goodness.
Excellent.
Silver Springs. Yes, Patty. We were at Silver Springs. I was trying to remember what is the name of that place because it's been a while. I loved it. And you hear about the water, but until you go and you see it, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rosemary Hensley has a frost warning tonight in Virginia. That's why you're so cold, Heather. The seasons are changing. Thunderball. Tony says it was Thunderball, Bob.
Thunderball. Yeah, he's right. That's what it was. Yeah, the seasons really are changing. My friend Mike Jeremiah checked in on me to see how we're doing, and we're fine. And he said it is going down to, I don't know, 42 or something in Connecticut. So it's been like the last week, things flipped.
That was my mom. She's in the desert, right? And she said, oh, it's cooled off so much, honey. It's 88. It's lovely. But it's a dry heat, of course.
The desert gets pretty cold at night. Maybe not quite yet.
Not quite yet, but it does. It gets frosty. They don't get where my mom is. They don't get terribly cold. You have to be a little more in the high country. But yeah, when you live in a hot place, when it got down to 88, it was just so pleasant.
Becky Sutherland says, yes, she loves it when it's colder.
Oh, and look, Carrie Smith is in Crystal River, and they just got their power back. That is amazing to hear, because there were at like 3 o'clock this afternoon, there were over 3 million people in Florida without power. Right. And the whole Crystal River area was in the bullseye of the power outage. You got your power back. That's just so amazing.
That's great. That's really great. We need that. We need that Gulf water to cool down like that too, because that's the problem. The water, the water in Florida a week ago in certain parts of the Gulf was 80 degrees in October. And that is jet fuel for hurricanes. All they have to do is they get it going. They go toward land and they go, I think I'm going to back up a little bit. And you hear this on the weather forecast. Well, it's slowed down. Yeah, it's slowed down because it's backing up to get more of that hot water. And then it's going to, be even worse. That water needs to calm down. It needs to drop. It's the whole problem.
Audra Mulligan's in Inverness. They don't have their power back. I want everybody to send your best big thoughts to Tara Famora. Her sister's having open heart surgery on the 17th in Arizona, and Tara's flying out there to be with her sister. So Tara, you're asking what I think about American Airlines. Well, I'm hostage because where I live, that's the only airline that I can fly. But can I say something in defense of American Airlines, for God's sake? I had the smoothest flight I've had in years with the greatest flight attendants and the most delightful pilot.
Oh, that's American.
Good. So you hear a lot of bad things, but let me tell you, some of it is just how awful everything is in general. I think for the most part, I mean, I fly American a lot, and everyone is always wonderful. Sometimes you get some passengers that are out of control. And those are, that's not the airline's fault. My only bitch with American is where I live, there's no competition. So it's, we can go to book a flight.
Yeah.
The American Airlines app is like, can you give up a kidney? And we'll put you in row 15 in the middle. Like, it's just really ridiculous.
No, you're right.
But Tara, we're going to pray for your sister. I'm glad that you're going to be able to be out there. I'm glad you're going to be able to be out there with her.
Billy Prevette just jumped in, said, "Hi, I'm from Huntington. I'm presuming West Virginia. Just saying hello." Hello, Billy.
Hello, Billy.
You don't have to do any more than that with the Bob and Sheri happy hour. It's cool. It's
oh my
fun.
God, look at Angie Pineda. It was 85 in Nebraska today. I remember when it would not be 85 in Nebraska in mid-October.
No.
We spent a lot of time in Nebraska when I was a kid because you can't get to Wyoming without going through Nebraska. And Nebraska's like Texas. The sun comes up at one end of Nebraska and goes down at the other before you leave it. It is so massive to drive through. And 85 in Nebraska in October? That ain't right. That ain't right.
You know what I'm giving my grandson who turns 5 on Saturday? Kid golf clubs.
Does he want to play?
His father took it up, and as a matter of fact, both of my son-in-laws took up golf within the last 2 years. I don't play that much anymore, or really at all, because my foursome, all the guys I used to play with, everybody lives someplace else, and you know me, I just don't care to meet new people. So they are taking it up, and they go to this driving range that is indoors. It's a chain, and it's indoors, and you order pizza and then you hit golf balls. And so they're both in, and I've given them both the greatest golf book ever written. If you have somebody, you want this for Christmas, you have a new golfer, Ben Hogan's 5 Lessons. It's still in print. It is the greatest book that you can ever have to learn the game of golf. Now, you should take lessons from a pro too. But anyway, I gave them both that. So they both have golf clubs. One of them, Tim, has my old clubs. And so I know that Ramsey is taking him when he goes to the driving range. And so I decided to go out and get him some kid golf clubs. And they weren't expensive, but I cannot wait to give them to him.
He's going to love them.
And I got him a little kid visor, little visor to go along with it, and some golf balls. So I'm looking forward to doing that coming up. And of course, I have to get, you have to be careful because it can't be 50-50, but I have to give Elle, my granddaughter, who is 3 years old, 3.5, she has to get something. So she gets she gets the lobster lollipop and a little shirt that I got for her.
We think that Lamar's power and internet just went out. He has been afflicted by these storms, and you would never guess where he lives that it would be the case. But Lamar's part of the world got smacked and stomped. So if he can get back in before we sign off, but that's what happened. We think he got bounced.
Okay. I can't believe we had him at all, to be honest.
I want to shout out Carla Wyatt's here, and her husband Chris was one of our teacher winners who came to Margaritaville and Fort Myers with us.
Oh.
And Chris is spending his fall break at Brave Like Brett. at his follow-up appointments, and we need to go back to the beach, and Bob needs to come too. Chris is the 7th grade teacher that we talked about on the show, who, because he was the 7th grade teacher, he was also a coach of something, and they made him drive the bus for the team, and he had never driven a bus before, and he's
Right.
coming out of the parking lot of the school where the kids had their game, and he hears a crunch, and he hit the cop car with the school bus. It was the best story ever. Best story ever.
Look at this. Neil LaCroix, just taking photos of the Northern Lights. This is the first time I've ever been able to really see them and take pictures. How
They're all
about
over
that?
Maine tonight.
How you can see them in Maine tonight?
A lot of people on my threads
you're
and Instagram
kidding.
feeds are seeing them. Yeah.
I was wondering where he was in Maine. Oh my, probably in the county, right?
Neil might be right up there on the other side of New Brunswick.
Yeah.
But yeah, because there's a geomagnetic storm right now, because Earth doesn't have enough going on, we're having like a level G4, G5 geomagnetic storm. And so the aurora, the Northern Lights, is coming further south than it ever has. And you can see them in like Maine and New York. I don't know how much further down they'll come, but how exciting is that?
That is fantastic. You know, that's one of the things that is consistently on bucket lists, to see the Northern Lights.
Jane's in Virginia. Wait. No, wait. Jackie's in Virginia and can see them. And Jane says you're supposed to be able to see them in Ohio tonight. And Crystal has a friend in Ohio who's looking at them right now. Oh, and Brenda said they're supposed to be able to see them in Kentucky. Oh my God, that's on my bucket list of things. I would love to see that.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's great. Allison Bella's in New York, and let's see who else we have here tonight. It's just so exciting to see people from so far away. Bangor, Maine, where I was not long ago, is checking in tonight. Let's see.
Mary Kay Tucker said a meteorologist in Charlotte says he can see them tonight. I go outside and walk all around staring at the sky, and I've never gotten to see them where I live. I keep telling Kev, we need to go to like Saskatchewan or something where you're pretty much.
Why don't you do that sometime? Why don't you actually do that sometime?
I can't ever get enough time.
Well, someday
you can't go to Saskatchewan for a weekend.
No, it is it is far.
You need a little bit of time to do that.
Yeah.
Hey to Karen Edsel in Belmont and Elizabeth in Lace City, Florida. That's a pretty name. Lace City. How are you okay, Elizabeth? Do you have your power and whatnot? Rachel Wheat is in Sugar Tree, Tennessee. That sounds like, girl, Sugar Tree, Tennessee sounds like the name of a town in a Hallmark Channel Christmas movie.
Or a country music song.
Yeah. You know, she's an accountant in Nashville, and she doesn't want any part of her simple country life back in Sugar Tree. But then her mama calls, and daddy's about to lose what would daddy be losing? Oh, the Kaleidoscope store. Daddy runs the most beloved Kaleidoscope store in Sugar Tree. He's about to lose everything to the bank. So she comes home, takes over the Kaleidoscope store, falls in love with her high school crush, and lives happily ever after. Exactly. Hi from Kinderhook, New York to Kathy Pfeiffer Williams. Kat, you're right. I mean, Sugar Tree. Yeah, for sure.
Dan Riordan says, come to Alaska and watch the Northern Lights and eat fresh salmon. I'm in Wasilla, Alaska, where you were not long ago.
Tony and I went to Wasilla, which is gorgeous. Oh my God, like talk about having your breath taken away. We went to Wasilla and Anchorage, and I promise you, we stared at that sky. And not so much as a shooting star. We tried.
Well, we are running out of time, and I've just been informed that my battery is about to give out. So before we run out of time here, I think we ought to close out the way we opened up. Today was kind of a different happy hour, maybe not as raucous as it sometimes gets, or kooky, but with what's going on, I think we did the best we could. And we just want to say that our hearts go out and our hope goes out for quick recovery to so many places in the East Coast, from Florida through North Carolina, some of South Carolina, and some of Tennessee, just absolutely devastated.
It's
One of the great things that you can do, and it's easy to do, is to give through the American Red Cross and local radio stations that Sherry and I are carried on. Um,
have links on their websites. Oh, we just lost Bob.
Oh, no.
I will say that before we jump off. It's been really amazing to see all of the people ringing in from Florida tonight who did okay in parts of the state that were, that the guys on the Weather Channel were really apocalyptic about. I'm so thankful that you're safe and that you were able and willing to join us here tonight. Lamar tomorrow, since he's not here to tell you himself, Lamar is going to review Nobody Wants This on Netflix. And I'm just going to tell you right now, that man can't stop talking about it. Heather, are you watching it? I think he loves it. He won't tell me for sure, but just the way he's talking about it tells me that he loves it. So hopefully Bob and Lamar will have power and everything. I'll be on the show tomorrow, me and Max and Doc, one way or the other. So thank you for coming out tonight. And we're so grateful that you're safe. We know that some of you, like Melissa, who's living in her camper because her house is flooded. Some of you have a long road ahead of you, but you're alive and you're unharmed and your people are unharmed. And my grandma used to always tell me when I was crying over some boy or because I didn't like the way I looked or a bad haircut or whatever, my grandma used to tell me all the time, and it really stayed with me. She's like, honey, anything can be fixed as long as you're here to fix it. And so we're really glad that you came through the storm. And we're going to hope that this hurricane season wraps up because I know you're tired of it. I can tell you right now, one of our station websites, which is k1047.com, has a link for donations to help the people affected by these hurricanes that goes specifically to hurricane damage, and that's connected through the American Red Cross. So let me raise my glass. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow on the show and with a brand new Talking Lamar and a brand new True Weird Stuff. Good night. Come here, you want to sit in my lap?